You're listening to What She Grows Through, a podcast dedicated to empower and uplift Black women to grow their self-worth. I'm your host, Chanel Amir, one of many dope Black women, creating a community for us to pour into and align with one another, uncovering our true feelings from sexuality to self-love, to begin growing through life and evolving into our best authentic selves. Let's get started. Hey everyone, this is my very first episode, so thank you so much for tuning in and seeing what the show's all about. Why am I starting a podcast? I listen to a bunch of different podcasts, and I realized that I really enjoy feeling like I'm a part of a new era where Black women are getting into so many different things. They're starting businesses. They're just being that dope Black woman. Like I'm a dope Black woman, so I would love to be a part of that. Everyone, we're just beginning to come together more. I already have a blog that I'm starting, and I decided to start back up my YouTube. And I believe that adding another platform, that would tie everything together. So if you are more into reading, you can check out my blog. I'll give you all the details later in terms of that. If you're into more visuals, then you can check out my YouTube channel. I'm really excited to put out content on that. And if you're more on the go and podcasting is your thing, then I suggest you definitely tune into this because I believe it's going to be all of that. But it's something about having a conversation with other women like yourself. And we begin to realize that a lot of our experiences, they mirror one another. Yet, we're still all subject to our own individual stories. And I want to highlight that here on the show. Although each and every one of us, we go through it, right? That's the term. You go through it. Like, I'm just going through so much. I want to use this show and my platform to change the narrative that us Black women, we can actually grow through our journey. Grow. To grow, that's to evolve. And my goal for the show is to create a space for us to have so many different discussions on what this actually means. And that can be so many different topics, from embracing your sexuality to diving deep into building your self-love, and building your self-worth. My main goal overall, though, is by continuing my own journey, because it's a marathon, right? Like Nipsey Hussle said. But continuing my own journey, and by walking by faith and with positivity, I can also help other Black women to process their own self-worth so that we all together can grow through life, evolving into our best authentic selves. So, if this is something that you're into trying and you're a dope Black woman, then you're a dope Black woman, then you're definitely in the right place. Now, I know you might want to know a little bit about me. Maybe you might not, but I think it would be good to start that out. Now, I know I have a hard time when someone tells you, asks you a question, tell me about yourself. Like, I don't know if I'm trying to be humble or what, but I always get stuck on this question. So I did have to write down and actually figure out, like, how can I explain myself? I don't know. It sounds weird, but I mean, we'll try, right? I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Go Steelers. And it was just me and my little sister. And we were raised by my mom, who was a single black parent. I managed to get pretty good grades in high school, and I got accepted into the University of Pittsburgh, Maine, and graduated with a dual degree in both psychology and sociology. And then I also got a sociological thematic cluster certificate, tongue twister, right? In race, gender, and sexuality. I had to throw that in there because it sounds like super fancy, and I'm very proud of that. But going into college, I thought I wanted to be a pediatrician. However, during college, I realized I don't really like school that much. So I tried to figure out what could I do that would make a lot of money, but I would be able to enjoy what I was doing. So that's why I decided the psychology and sociology. I thought I wanted to be a occupational therapist. However, after I graduated, I didn't want to go back. I thought I was going to just take a year off, but yeah, I didn't really want to go back. And school is just a lot. But I found myself really enjoying the mental health field. Like, I really love trying to understand how a person thinks and why they think the way they do. So mental health definitely was great for me. So going into, after graduating Pitt, I got my first job. I don't even remember. I think I was like a counselor at a residential treatment facility. And when I tell you, that is a piece of work. I was dealing with autistic kids from 18 and under, and I actually was doing block shifts. So I would stay on campus for 2.5 days. But I mean, the good thing was I was off for 4.5 days. But that took a toll on you mentally. So after that, I ended up going to a different facility where it was 18 and up. And instead of having 3 kids in the house, I ended up having 1. However, that was difficult too. It was to the point where like I wanted to call my own mom and vent to her. So it was still a block shift, the 2.5 days on, 4.5 days off. But I finally got accepted or got a position to be a family-based clinician for UPMC. And I did that for about 4 years, actually. And that actually was a really good job. I enjoyed everything about that. Now, obviously, it takes a toll on you mentally. It was a lot. We'll get into that maybe a different time. I don't know if you want to know too much about that. But I did have my son. I met my son's father at the residential treatment facility place. We end up having a little boy, and I don't know, I realized that with the mental health field, like, because I was actually going to other people's homes and never really had an exact schedule. Like, I was going off of other parents' schedules. I just never knew when I would be able to have time for my son, and time is just so important to me. So I had to figure something out. And also, mental health psychology majors, they don't pay you enough also. So like, I'm literally getting by, living paycheck to paycheck. How am I living paycheck to paycheck when I literally have a degree? Something had to change. So I end up having a little side job where I was cleaning, and making a little bit of money. And I realized I can do this on my own. So with one of those refund checks, I decided to be responsible and take some of that money and start my own cleaning business. So I end up doing that. And oh my God, ever since then, I've been out on my own. I was able to do that and my job for about a year. And then after that, I just wanted to just do my own thing. I literally had one contract to the point where my one contract, which would take like about 2 hours a day, that was basically the same thing as me working 8 hours a day for my first job. So I just figured, hey, if I can get that and maybe one more contract, I'll probably be working maybe 3-4 hours a day. And I'll be making way more than what I was making before. And I'll have so much more time with my son. So I decided to do that. And I've been out on my own ever since. And I mean, the pandemic definitely messed some things up. I had a really big contract where I was good. But hey, we're making it, right? But I also just wanted to do some other stuff. That's where the blog came in. Like, I just want to be able to express myself. And I have so many, like, great conversations with other Black women. And I figure, why not put pen to paper? Why not express this and get this out to other people? That's why I decided to do the blog and do the podcast and do YouTube. I'm excited about sharing my stories and other Black women's stories and having different discussions and conversations with other people. And I believe we definitely can do something. So I hope you guys enjoyed this welcome first episode. Get to know me a little bit, but hopefully you guys get the gist. And I'm excited to put out more content and to give this podcasting thing a try. Giving myself a year to seeing how big I can get from the first episode of, just winging it and seeing just like how far I go. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you during the next episode.